Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Trevor Ohlsen Show, episode 105 on Wednesday, February 23rd, 2022. I am your host. It's good to be here. A couple little updates for you before we get into the show. If you'd like to support the show, you can head over to patreon.com/Trevor Ohlsen where you can sign up for a bonus Saturday podcast every single Saturday at Patreon. Just like this, if you like the podcast, the music, anything that I'm doing creatively, if you'd like to support it, the best way to support it for people who are always asking, all the people constantly messaging me about supporting, patreon.com/Trevor Ohlsen is by far one of the best ways to do it. Another little update. Friday night, the new single is out and not getting the plays that I hoped for. So be sure to head over there to YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Deezer. I've literally never been on Deezer, but I know that the song's on there. Amazon Music, wherever you listen to music, Friday night is there. It's available. Be sure to go download it, buy it, stream it, save it, playlist it, all of the things that help get the algorithm. We're subject to the algorithm, folks, that help get the algorithm working for it. So be sure to check out the song Friday night. None of this Sunday morning shit. Sunday morning, rain is falling. None of that. It's Friday night and I'm calling you again. That's what we want. Friday night, folks. So go. Be sure to check that out. And then, of course, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, all the stuff that everybody asks for. So, without further ado, is that how you say it? Further or do? I don't even know. That's crazy. Just realized that 26, don't even know what further ado is. We're going to get into the show here, folks. So, talking Allt för Sverige, episode 6? Episode 6, right? Yes, episode 6. Talking Allt för Sverige, episode 6. Let's get into it. What did you guys think? Anders sent me an email the other day. He said, people are enjoying the show. The ratings look nice. People are happy. People are happy with the show. So that's great. A fun episode, I thought. Let's pull it up here. A fun episode indeed. This was the episode where we went up north. We went up Vindel? I don't know. I don't know. I remember a few places we went. We went to, is this mic is this sounding good? I feel like my voice sounds kind of distant. There we go. Good to adjust during mid-show. Vindel, I don't know. Vindelen. I know a few places that we went, Mariestad, Karlstad, Stockholm, there you go, Gotland. But we were up in Vindeli, up north, just a couple hours away, I believe, from the Arctic Circle. So, basically, at the what's the word? Longitude? Oh, God, I'm revealing to myself how stupid I am. Longitude, latitude of Alaska, up very north. Up north. That's why you see all of us bundled up like it's the middle of winter in August in Sweden. And you got to meet Linda, if you hadn't already met her before. Very famous, very well-known hunter in the area, who was one of my favorite people I met on the entire trip. She was so fun. She was hilarious. She didn't give a fuck about anything. She was just so fun to be around. She was very warm and inviting, very kind and very, very loving. And she took us in, and we very much enjoyed it. So we're up in Vindelen, and let's just go. Yeah, that's right. A grocery store action. We had to do some shopping. What do you guys think of that? That coffee scene with Sally and Brett, Erica and John. It was so funny, so silly, because they were like coffee cock, right? Was it coffee cock? And it was just really quite funny, the absurdity of everything that they were saying, how they just like big, long, hard cocks. Everybody needs a good hard cock. I don't know. It was just really silly. And I was glad they threw it in because I remember too, because I was off shopping with Nikki and Sharon, and everybody was just running away from us. I was being really loud and boisterous because that's who I am. And so I was just yelling at yelling to people across the grocery store, and then everybody ran away, which was really funny. And yeah, Nikki and Sharon were like, "I think you need to adjust your technique," and I was like, "I think you two need to speak up more." And then I just kept yelling. But yes, I thought the coffee scene was very funny, silly, one might say. Nice big hard cock. Who doesn't like that? Yeah, Swedes running away. What else? Yes. 6 minutes in, I'm saying. What else? Anything else to talk about? All right, guys, that's the episode. Thanks for Patreon. There we go. Yes, went to Linda's summer stuga, or her. I'm trying to remember what she told me. If it was her grandparents or her parents, or if it was hers, but it was her family's. Besides the point. And we were told there was going to be some people hunting, there was going to be some people gathering, and in a twist, you might say, they assigned John and I to the gathering and the ladies to the hunting. Because you can see when they mention about hunting, we were excited to do that, and then they stole that from us. Gave that to the ladies. They flip-flopped it. It was Sweden with their gender equality, which is good, but it was just funny how they switched it around. Somebody asked me the other day, they're like, what did they say? Again, I hate when women ask me this question. They're like, "Are you a feminist?" Because they're implying something. And basically, if you say anything other than yes, they lose their mind. And I go, and my response is like, I'm a feminist as far as I view women as completely equal as men. And then usually they leave me alone. But it's just I don't know where I'm. But anyway, besides the point, I don't want to talk about that. Mushrooms. So speaking of mushrooms, we ran off into the forest, like the good little gatherers we were, and gathered some psilocybin mushrooms, tripped balls. And they didn't film that. They didn't film us tripping balls in the middle of the forest. Me, John, Sharon, and Linda. John took his clothes off and ran off into the forest. We lost him for days. Filming had to be paused. Sharon was very concerned. I figured he does this all the time. John always disappeared on us. He would go off for days and weeks, thinking that things were fine. Thinking that things were fine. We found him 6 days later, face down in a ditch. No, we were gathering mushrooms. It was fun. Quite successfully, I might add. Quite successfully. They had these cool little mushroom little knives and brushes. And there's a tool for everything. There's a tool for every little thing, even for gathering mushrooms. Yes, the girls got to shoot. It was fun to see. Sally shoot. She had never shot a gun before, and she said that she lives around a bunch of left-wing radicals in Minneapolis, a bunch of psychos. No, but I was happy to see that she shot the gun and then she immediately liked it, because there you go. But I grew up in a hunting culture, and some people on the show did as well. Erica, by the way, the hat she's wearing is mine. The hat that Erica is wearing is mine. The dead animal on her head. I picked that up in Gotland, and I had it, and I didn't really like love the way it looked on me. I don't know, but we were doing the hunting day, and I pulled it out, and I was like, "Do you want to wear it?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, absolutely." So I thought that was funny. Gathered. Yep. Nikki shot at a bird. We'll just leave it at that. Yes, Sally's story. A beautiful story. No, all these stories are filled with heartache and pain and death. Everyone's story. Everyone's dying, which makes sense because these are our ancestors. These people came before us, so it was quite a while ago. But man, a lot of suffering, a lot of pain, and I've used it, like I said, too much. But I will use it one more time. A lot of healing, it seems, for everybody when they fill in the gaps in the narrative and they figure out, the answers come to the questions that that we've all had. What happened? Why are we the way that we are? Where do we come from? All the questions that everybody that we're all wondering when we get to read about them. It's like I said, it's like a nice little bit of healing that takes place. Sally's been posting on Instagram. She's like, "This is the 37th time that I've cried." But that's everyone fucking cried all the time. Everybody just cries all the time. Everybody cried all the time. I don't think there's any shots of me crying yet. You hear my voice get a little choked up on my day. It was the best gift anyone's ever given me. And it was beautiful. I'm just fast forwarding here through the episode, folks. Oh yeah, when we all came back together. That was actually really fun. When all of us came back around and around the fire, and we were, they didn't really show up, but we were eating the mushrooms that we collected. And Nikki and Brett, and I can't remember the gentleman's name, picked up chanterelles, and we picked up the other mushroom. And we were grilling them in the fire. How do we grill them? Was it just butter? I think we just grilled butter and God, my podcast just happens to follow on the day the garbage truck has to clean everything up. They just have to come and clean up the city on the day. This is about me, garbage truck. Sorry for the noise, folks, but get over yourselves. Yes, it was fun when we all got together and ate the mushrooms. And yeah, that's how we did it. We took the bread too, we like toasted the bread where we grilled the mushrooms, and we did it all over the fire. And then we just had mushrooms on bread. And as simple as that sounds, it was actually quite delicious because we had gathered them ourselves. And so, I don't know, things are just better cooked. It seems to be the case that things are better when you gather them yourselves, if I can speak. And then you also, say you kill an animal as well. Last year I shot a deer, and we pounded down the venison, folks. Pounded it down, enjoyed it every day, and appreciated it much more when people, it's so fucking loud, when people, I'll just try to block the mic here. Oh my God, are they killing people out there? Is this a war zone? Somebody's getting murdered right out there. They're lifting up somebody, and they're hurling them into the garbage truck. They're getting shredded. This is absurdly loud. I can't see. I don't know why I keep leaning. I got my fucking drapes in the way, but I can't really reach because all my studio stuff's in the way. All right, they're leaving. My God, every Wednesday we're going to do this? Every Wednesday I'm going to go, sorry guys, there's a massive truck 8 feet away, and they're just throwing shit around. Yeah, okay. Lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, I killed a deer, and yeah, for people who don't hunt, or who haven't hunted, here's what I'll say about it. When you hunt, you have a deeper sense of connection with the animal that you kill, and you have a deeper appreciation for the food that you eat every day. Because typically, normal modern people, we're very disconnected from our food. We go to the grocery stores, it's plastic wrapped, and we bring it home, we eat it. That's it. But there's so much more to that process. There's that animal had to be raised, and hopefully we can only hope that they live, the animals are free ranging and grass fed, but that's absolutely not the case for most meat that's consumed, which is quite unfortunate. But there's just so many more steps. It's like the animal has to be raised, has to be well fed, it has to be, again, preferably allowed to wander, and then hopefully it has, as they say, it has a good life, and then one bad day, and you give that animal, has to be killed, it has to be slaughtered, and then it has to be butchered, and then it ends up transporting to the grocery stores, to where we all eat it. So we're just so disconnected from it. And what hunting does is it truly connects you to every part of that process that it takes for, it connects you to the entire experience. Because you have to go out into the woods where the animals are. You have to, in my case with this deer, I had to kill it, and then we dragged it back to the cabin where I gut it. And a lot of people don't want to do the gutting. They try to avoid it. But I made this point yesterday, and my housemate was like, this isn't she was kind of joking, but she's like, this isn't the house to talk about that. And I was talking about killing and eating animals. As we're eating fish, here's the thing. When it comes to people who are hesitant to eat meat, or how about this? I think there's a lot of people who eat meat who think it's wrong to kill animals or to hunt, not just go out and kill a kitten or smush a kitten, like that documentary documentary series on Netflix, Don't Fuck with Cats. I'm not ziplocking kittens and just squeezing the life out of them. The only animals that I'm killing are animals that I'm eating. And so, but a lot of people, I can think of a few that come to mind right away. They're not interested in hunting, and they're they're basically against it, but yet they eat meat. And I just don't know how they don't see how that's hypocritical. And I'm a hypocrite. I'm not judging them. Everybody's a hypocrite. I'm not perfect. But I even had a whole, and you kind of have an ethical and a moral sort of dilemma when you're about to kill an animal for the first time. And usually it's a bigger animal, such as a deer. Because people don't really care about, if you kill a fish or even a smaller creature. But a deer is a pretty large animal, and they've got little personalities. They've got, it's an animal, it's a living creature. And unless you're a psychopath, you have an experience, at least I've had, I can only speak from my experience, is that when you're about to pull the trigger for the first time on a deer, you're very, very conscious and aware of the fact that you are going to end this deer's life. And for me, I told myself, I was like, if I can't kill this deer, if I don't have the heart, the guts, the balls, whatever, to kill this animal, then I shouldn't be eating meat, because you know what, I can't do this myself, and therefore I shouldn't participate in this industry because I can't do it myself. And that wasn't the case. I've killed a few deer now, and I really just felt that the first time I ever did it, and then I've been okay with it ever since. And I truly, and I've been a part of the whole experience from, again, like I was just saying, from killing to gutting to butchering to getting the meat to doing the cuts to wrapping them to getting them in the freezer. Like, I've been a part of the whole entire process. And then when you do have a steak, a venison steak or whatever it is that you've made, you know where that meat came from. You know that animal lived a good life in the wild, as good of a life as an animal can live in the wild. And you know that you delivered a swift kill. You know that you have an intimate relationship with the food that you're eating, and you appreciate it so much more. It tastes better, and it means something to you. And just purchasing meat, there's a disconnect, because we used to, as people, we used to have to hunt and gather all the time to survive, and we don't have to do that anymore. And so there's a nice little speech on my experience with hunting, and that's what I will say to people who perhaps are hesitant to hunt or think that it's maybe wrong, but they still eat meat. Like, that was just my experience. It's like, if I can't kill this animal, I shouldn't be eating meat. But I did kill the animal, and I appreciated the meat that much more. So let's get back to the fucking episode. About this episode. Yeah, it was a beautiful area, man. It was so fun too. You know, when we went up there, we had been, again, I've said this before, we had a home base in Stockholm. It was a really nice contrast to go from the city to just up north, away from everybody and everything. Like, I'm all about that. I want to be around people. I need a good balance. Like, me personally, I need a balance between like city life and being around people and constantly being stimulated, to just like being in the wilderness, being alone, having solitude. I like that balance. Learned some shit from Anders. What a teacher. Yes, and then went, again, we had a nice little conversation. Oh yeah, the grilling scene was kind of funny. Erica was giving me shit for cooking. Yeah, I lit all the butter on fire. That wasn't supposed to happen. But yeah, Erica and I just have a great time. We had a great time together. And then, of course, the conversation came up on guns. And there's always been a heated debate on guns. Although human beings have had weapons forever. And so, but obviously there's different opinions with regards to guns, which is why they brought it up. And John touches on a good point where there's issues that cause violence that aren't necessarily gun related, like poverty-stricken areas, or I don't know. I can't remember the points he made, but there's other aspects, and I really like what Brett said about personal responsibility. That's right where I am. It's like, I grew up in a hunting culture in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Huge hunting culture. I mean, it's what people do up there. It's hunting, it's fishing, it's four-wheeling and snowmobiles and like all out. It's big trucks and mudding. That's the world I grew up in. And I think that Brett made an excellent point, that it comes down to personal responsibility. And I believe that. I'm a big believer in that, just with everything. You're responsible for everything in your life: your health, your relationships, your income, your literally everything. I'm reading this book right now by Jocko Willink called Extreme Ownership, and Mark Manson has touched on it as well. This idea of hyper-personal responsibility. That really kind of turns me on, gets me going. It resonates with me, and not only does it resonate with me, but it gives you. It gives the power back to yourself, because if you believe that other people are responsible for, to use a cliche, your happiness or your health or anything like that, if you believe that anybody outside of yourself, anything external, is responsible for you or for your own happiness, you're likely, very likely, to end up unhappy and disappointed, because at the end of the day, the only person who's going to make you happy is you. Of course, we need each other as well. But I think a lot of people, we try to solve our problems by external means. And it's easy to do that. It's easy to want, if you're not feeling good, to just, whatever, have sex or watch porn or drink or do any sort of, to engage in any type of coping mechanism that's going to make you feel better, that's going to distract you from whatever it is that's actually bothering you. So I like what Brett said about it's personal responsibility. And growing up in the culture that I grew up in, I was around guns my entire life. Our family has a bunch. I've killed deer, I've killed birds. Fishing's different. We've done skeet shooting. That's just a regular. All of that stuff's very, very normal to us. We have, handguns in the house, and we're very responsible with them. We don't fuck around with them. We view guns as tools, but with a lot of respect. We view them and treat them with a lot of care, with a lot of respect. We do not play around with them. And in fact, I've been around people who have played around with guns, and it's horrifying and it's clear when people don't know what they're doing. Like people, I remember I had this friend who literally what was it? He just basically had a gun. He was just fucking waving it around at us. He's talking and waving. I'm like, dude, like you're pointing your pistol at me. And he's like, he's like, my finger's off the trigger. I'm like, what? Like you psycho? This is how people get killed. So we treated guns with a lot of respect and a lot of care and with a lot of responsibility. And so I think that's it. I don't like the idea of the people can't have guns or the government taking people's guns away. I think that's crazy. So I thought it was, and I should say as well, even though it was very brief in the show, we discussed the whole gun policy issue quite extensively and in depth for quite a bit, at Linda's place, and there was a number of us who had differing opinions, and we were all very respectful, and we all share our perspectives, and we all, for the most part, listened to each other. And I thought it was a really healthy discussion because it's so easy for people to just start interrupting each other and just like start butting heads. So that was really nice. I just remember that being like, that was a good discussion. Yes. And then the bath, the hot tub, rather, whatever you want to call it. That was, was it my most fond memory? I think it might have been the fondest memory that I have. It might be the fondest memory that I have about going to Sweden. It was briefly shown in the episode, but I mean, we spent hours in that hot tub. Linda got it to a heat where it wasn't too hot, and I had never experienced that because in the U.S., the hot tubs are very hot, like 100, I think 104, and you have to get out of them after whatever, an hour at the most. But, usually sooner, 30 minutes. But Linda got the heat to just like a nice warm bath. It was so nice. And it was cold, and we were getting hit with like sleet and snow in August. And so we had this contrast of just cold wind and snow, like not so much snow, but just more so cold wind. And if we got too hot, we would just like get half of our bodies out of the water. And, we just kind of kept going in and out. And then right by the cabin was this lake, and it was freezing cold. But Erica and John and we went off and off camera, obviously, and we went skinny dipping. And it was so fun. It was so fun. It was a beautiful full moon, and we jumped into the water. John does a really nice job of explaining it. I think we're going to do a podcast together soon. I'm sure we'll probably talk about that. But yeah, the water is like lapping up against us, and we're walking through the reeds, and the moonlight is glowing on the water's surface, and we dive in, and it's freezing cold, and it just takes takes your breath away, and you come out, and I felt so human. We felt so human. We felt so alive, and then eventually we made our way back to the hot tub as well, and all the three of us have talked about it since, and that was by far one of our favorite memories. I think for me it was probably my favorite memory of the trip. It was maybe the highlight, along with a couple of the meals that we had there, like the meal we shared with Linda and the meal we had with Hannah. Both of those were wonderful. And then finally, before we wrap up the show, folks, the competition. We had to say goodbye to 2 people this time. Goodbye, Brett. Goodbye, Sharon. You will be missed. No, it was it just came down to the competition. We shot, and we had to hit the right targets, and it was complex and complicated, and John got first, and Nikki got second. They didn't say that, And then I got third, and I'm trying to remember the rest after that. I think it was Erica and then Sally, right? That would be all of us. So they will be missed, Sharon and Brett. Thanks for tagging along. On we go to the next episode, hinting that it is the music episode where we had the chance to go see Daniel Adams, Ray Adams. We got to go to his concert. There's a great shot of all of us with our sunglasses on, walking to the music studio, and they hint at some recording going on, some music happening, and also they hint at Erica's story as well. So, looking forward to seeing that episode, being a musician and having a part in it. So, looking forward to it. All right, friends, just like that, we're at the end of the episode. As always, a pleasure to be here. I hope you enjoy the show. Again, if you'd like to support the show, you can head over to patreon.com/Trevor Ohlsen, where I'm doing this every Saturday. It's the best way to support everything creative that I'm doing. And again, don't forget to go check out Friday Night, the single on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes. Download it, playlist it, buy it. Everything that you gotta do to get that song rolling. We'll be back next Saturday on Patreon, this Saturday on Patreon, and of course every Wednesday for free on YouTube. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Keep doing your thing, and we'll see you then.